Just welcome back. Today we've got an amazing special guest. We've got Karla here. She is an absolute expert on branding. And today what we're going to talk about is how essentially you can position your brand, and you can use branding to make more sales, because guys, all of us want to make more sales, right? And not just that we want to make more sales, but essentially what we're going to talk about is how you lift the premiumness of your brand so that you can charge more money. Because guess what? There is so many crappy brands out there, so many people who sell crappy products, and sometimes they sell them for too much money. And I know that you guys are selling amazing, premium, high quality products, but you're not always getting paid for that. So what we're going to talk about today is how to lift that through branding and really charge for what your products are worth. So Karla, welcome. So amazing to have you here. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, Silvia. Thank you so much for having me.
So Karla, tell us a little bit more about what is actually branding. Like, it's this big word and people talk about it as like brands and branding and premium brands and a discount brand and a great brand and a bad brands. But what is it? Because some people falsely believe that brand is a logo, I guess, or a theme.
I love that because most of my clients come to me thinking that what they need for their business, it's a logo, and that a logo is gonna help them position them and solve all the problems that they have with their visual brand, when actually a logo is just part of a brand identity. So there's many words that are used like interchangeably, like branding, brand identity, but branding, it's your business, and you create a brand by being consistent and showing your values and your mission and what your brand and your company stands for. But branding, it tells more like the messaging and the whole story of your business. But brand identity is what I specialize in, and brand identity is the visual parts a brand has that makes it unique. And the idea of having a good brand identity is that also helps you attract your ideal customers through having the right colors, the right fonts, the right photography. So anything that's visual, it's part of a brand identity, and a logo is part of the brand identity. And even though a logo is not the most important part of a brand, it's what most people come across usually. If you're in social media, when you see like that little icon. And the most important thing a business has to do is to create brand recognition. And how you do this is by consistently using the same brand identity elements. So the same colors consistently, the same fonts throughout your website, your packaging, your inserts. And it really just helps to bring that connection. So in the US, one of the main, the big stores is Target. And it's a great example of how they do a great job with being consistent with their brand identity. Nowadays, you can see the Target icon, which is the bullseye in red, without seeing the name Target. And you know it's Target because you have created that brand recognition. And Target does a great job to show their branding very consistently through their ads. You can see like how they play with the circles through their packaging, right? Advertising. And there are many examples of brands that do a great job with brand consistency. And also some of them, I mean, they've been here for years, right? Like Starbucks does a great job also with their brand identity, that they had even dared to use their signage without typography. Now, like, you can see the signage, it's just the siren, and they don't even have to spell Starbucks because people know it's Starbucks.
I love it. So this is very, very good, Karla. So brand identity, essentially, just to recap that just to really comprehend that and recap for our viewers, it's brand identity is essentially how all of these components work together, right? So it's logo is part of it, colors are part of it, font is part of it. It's the feel that the online store gives you, and it's how they consistently come across and communicate in all of their messaging too. So now let's think about a new brand, right? Let's say a lot of our audience make their own premium boutique products. So for example, let's say I make high quality wax candles or soy candles. Let's say I make these high quality soy candles. And how should I think about this to create a brand identity? Like, what are some of the components that would make me, you mentioned customer before. So let's say I'm just opening a brand new store. What do I need to do? Like, where do I start?
So I assume the products are great already. And the job of a designer, or if someone is designing their own brand identity, it's to make sure that the visuals are to the par of the quality of the product, or even better. Because really, like, design can help elevate something much, much better. And I'm trying
So when you're saying visuals, are you referring to the whole, let's say, product page, right? So if I'm selling high quality products, then what you are saying is that the visual needs to be even looking as a higher quality as the product itself.
Correct. And when I talk about visuals, there's many categories. So let's say we're talking about candles. The label that you use for the candle can be designed in a very elegant way. And one thing to consider always, and this is a problem with people who design their own things, they overly design, and sometimes less is more. I always, when I design, I try to ask myself, can I take something away? Simplicity can make something look way more expensive and way more elegant. But people who—
That's very true, actually. Now thinking about so many apartments where if you go to somebody's house and it's really cluttered, it can be like a really expensive place, but if it's cluttered, it doesn't look premium at all. Whilst if you go to a place that has like quarter of the furniture in there, can suddenly have an amazingly premium feel, even though it might not be.
Exactly. And then also how this visuals are placed around a design can play a huge role. There are a couple of principles of design to be aware of, but the most important are, like, in design, it's design psychology, having the right colors and the right fonts, having and this is like just doing a Google search. You can do like color psychology. One of the main questions that I ask my clients is, what are 3 words that best describe your brand? And having that very clear can help you create the visuals that you need to promote your products, from creating the graphics of an ad to how you would shoot your photography. How do you want your— if the candles are more like earthy, more, you want to emphasize recycled materials, you might want to add some browns in there, some textures.
Mm-hmm.
But maybe the candles are very elegant and very high-end, expensive, like another feel, maybe just going with very neutrals, very clear lighting.
So yeah, this is very good, Karla. And you also mentioned the three words. Let's go back to the 3 words that you described. So these I found very interesting, because you say, what are the 3 words that describe your brand? And so let's say I just started and I'm like, oh my God, what are the 3 words? I have no idea. So what should people start thinking about here? Is it something where they start thinking about who the customer is and what the customer would like to see? Or is it what material are my products made out of? Where would you start?
So there are a couple questions that can help bring those words up. And I have a freebie that has 50 adjectives that you can—
Amazing.
And
by the way, guys, we're going to have a link below for you to download.
But one of the questions are, how do you want your customers to feel when they come
Okay.
across your website? That will be like a keyword. How you want them to make you feel. How think about the client experience through all the process of acquiring your product. So it could be like, how do you want them to feel when they come to your website? How do you want them to feel when they receive the product? How you want to position your brand? Do you want it to be happy and playful? Do you want to be elegant and trendy? Do you want it to be hippie and bohemian? It all
Yes.
is gonna look very different depending on how you want your brand to be positioned and your products to look and feel.
Yes, that makes complete sense. So, okay. So for everybody, by the way, download the 50 adjectives because that's going to blow your socks completely. And then let's say if we were to start from there, like let's say I just want to start and I want to have like something done today, right? And I've just started this brand selling candles, and I've realized that my candles are all about eco and recycling materials, but I also want this candle to make it to homes where, let's say, people are stressed out of their minds from their jobs, and they want to come home and light this candle, and they're going to feel great because it's all from eco recycled material. But at the same time, it also creates that feeling of peace. Is that realistic?
Yeah, Silvia, I mean, I love that part. I mean, I'm already envisioning that brand identity.
So how would you envision that? So
Okay.
how would you envision something like this?
So think about, like, colors come to my mind. We want to have like some brown tones to emphasize that part of like eco-friendly, but then you also, I love the play of different concepts because that is how like we create something unique. And then I would pair it with like very bright, like brighter colors that represent not necessarily a pure white, could be like some very subtle of whites that represent that pureness, that something more clear, something more elegant, and that kind of that balance of both things, of the white and the browns. I mean, I'm just looking at the lamp behind you, kind of that blend of the wood.
Okay,
Linen.
this place.
Exactly, yes.
Okay, good. Okay.
So how, like, you bring two elements together, but seeing them together, they have this different feel. But something, Silvia, to always have in mind, and I see this, always try to educate my clients that we're not designing for ourselves. We're always designing with the client in mind. I always try to tell my clients to separate themselves from the brand. So we're thinking about the brand and who the brand wants to attract. So it's so important to be clear who's our ideal client, because we are designing and creating these products for them. So we want to make sure that we are attracting the right demographic and the right feelings to the right people, not just because you like pink, then you'll do like all your brand pink because that's your favorite color, when pink might not resonate at all with your products and your brand.
That makes sense. That's very, very good point. And so I love this because it's kind of like we're designing a brand from scratch. So then what will be the next step? So, we talked a little bit about the colors. This candle brand that I've just described, and you brought the branding in, what kind of a name would you give it?
Okay, so then naming exercises are always fun and also difficult at the same time. I kind of like the idea of how you bring like two different things to create something. So I would probably, the thesaurus is your best friend. Try to, like, do a brainstorm. And this is how I actually design. Not necessarily, I don't do much of naming, but it's the same exercise when you do naming. Do a brainstorm of words that if you said like eco-friendly, all the words that come to your mind that
Yes.
are related to that area of something eco-friendly. And then the other area of something that is like,
For example, like peace at heart, right? Because it's the peace element, but you also have peace at heart because you're not feeling guilty or something like that.
exactly, yes. So then you will do that other part of the brainstorming. And then once you have like brainstorming, you can start playing with words. I really like combining different like words because that also helps with coming up with something unique that probably hasn't been trademarked. Always make sure like to do your research and see if the brand that the name that you're coming up with, it doesn't exist yet. Also we're going now beyond brand identity, but also it's important to make sure you get like the URL, especially the .com, and this exercise really helps to come up with something unique. So I have this client who sells e-commerce. She makes reusable bags made of 100% recycled bottles. And she came to me because first they wanted to create a very simple name, and the name of the brand was going to be Lime. But when it came to trademarking, it was impossible to trademark Lime. And they really like many people like Apple, the simplicity of it, but it's not that easy to just go and trademark something so simple. And they went back to the drawing board, and the trademark lawyer suggests coming up with something more unique that has like, a blend of two words exactly as the exercise that I shared. And the brand now it's called Pure Sage. So it's bringing like an adjective.
Nice.
And then it's sage. And so like Pure Sage is completely unique and it's very remarkable. And we play with the sage color, and it just makes sense, and it makes it very unique, and it stands out. It's remarkable because it's like different.
Yes, I love it. That's fantastic. And last question, Karla, I would love to also get our viewers a little bit of an insight on the colors or color palettes. And it's probably something that comes super natural to you. I do remember it was like well in my 30s when I finally realized that there is such thing as colors and not everything goes with everything. And that sometimes you have to think about that. And sometimes, there are some people who are really talented and just it goes naturally. And there are some people who need to learn it that, hey, like this color doesn't go with this color. So what would be kind of like the 3 no-nos where you would say like, hey, I've seen things that just look crazy and guys, please like, don't do this.
Okay, so if we're talking specifically to e-commerce, one of the things that I would suggest is not having a big color palette. You want your product to be the hero product. The hero image when people come in to your website. So I would probably pick one hero color to be like, this is my known colors. Think about Target, the red, Starbucks, the green. And then always just like keep it very simple in every aspect in your fonts. Like pick no more than 2 fonts. Colors, probably pick no more than 3 colors. And making sure like you have like maybe your signature color, but then you have like other subtones. So maybe some sort of white or off-white, and then something that like the people who are not designers, like it's very easy to just go like with just jet black, right? Like just black, pick like a simple color that is just elegant and easy. But sometimes like bringing that tone of black, like especially like in type, can just have like a better sense of a little bit more calm. So just making like, if you're doing on your website, try to bring down that black into like a dark gray can just make the whole difference in the viewer's eye. It just feels more soft than just a harsh black and white. Just the same with white. It doesn't have to be like bright white. It can just be like a tint of an off-white. But then if you want to play with color, make sure you just keep it like very, make it to be like an accent color and just pops of color here and there. If you're starting and doing it all on your own, keep it simple this way. You know, there's no way of going wrong if you just keep your brand very simple. Same with your logo. Like if you're creating your logo, a typographic logo is all you need. You don't need to create an icon, just like what Traffic Ninjas, you know, it's typographic, it does have a shape, but yes, we can play with a character here and there, but like, especially on a website, you only have so much real estate to show your logo. You want to make sure people can actually read it and remember it, and not, you don't have to be literal. That's another thing with people who make logos. They try to like tell the whole story. Like, you know, if I sell a bag, they want a bag in their logo. It's not necessary. Like, it's just using clean typography can just get the job done and get your shop going. Something else, Silvia, that I want to mention. I think it's better to just start and like just create something simple and get your shop started than wait for your brand to be perfect and get your like, many people like want to have everything perfect, the perfect branding, hiring the best designer, when they haven't even tested the market or their product. I'd rather work with people who have some skin in the game and they're ready to elevate their brand, and that they have tried on their own and see what worked, what did not work. And when they're ready to just elevate it, they come to me and then we'll just help them take it to the next level. But I really suggest to start it messy and just get it going with a simple branding.
I love it. Start and elevate it later. I love it. And guys, so this has been fantastic tips. Thank you so much, Karla, for all your help, for all your wisdom, for sharing this. Guys, for everybody else, the link below is essentially giving you the guide of 50 adjectives for your brand. It's gonna help you with your brand guidance. So make sure you grab that. And thank you so much, Karla, once again for being here with us today. If you guys have any questions, just put them in the comments below, and we cannot wait to see your brands shine through.
Thank you for having me, Silvia.
Bye, guys. See you later. Bye-bye.